Okay, so here we are stripping the fat off of beef loin we got from Costco for about $20. It's an amazing, like, massive amount of meat that it's just a really cost-effective way to go about feeding your family. You buy loin, you can make some roasts, you can make some pork chops, kind of pork rounds, but medallions, whatever. You can chop it up for kebabs, like plenty of options, however you like it. Now, if you like having pork rounds, medallions, pork chops without the bone, essentially, with the fat on them, which I find adds a lot of flavor, then leave this on, or you can trim it, or you can do a combination of both. If you are going to take the fat off, you definitely want to look at removing that before you cut it into the slices. It's a lot easier that way. We don't have a full setup of knives, so just use a small knife that's sharp, that's handy for you. And what you do is you start peeling it away, and then it'll come off much easier. You'll see in a moment when we're doing that. Now, I've thrown the pork loin onto a baking sheet. This is just to kind of keep the juice out of the way and not making a huge mess all over the counters. So that's what we're going to get started with. Hopefully my husband will edit this movie so I don't say so and every 20 seconds. Okay, so just find a point where you want to get started, and I apologize if this isn't all in the video. So find an area where you can get started on the fat to pull it away. We love the meat, but we're also going to look at the fat, but we're also going to look at doing a video or post later on for you all about rendering fat and the different uses you can use for that. So once you get going, as you can see, you'll be able to pull it up, and it gives you more leverage to keep trimming this fat off. There we go. I'm sure a nice little bowl here would be handy for me to toss that all in, since we are going to be rendering the fat ourselves. And so once you... So we're just gonna work on this here and chop away. I mean, knife safety, guys, be careful, don't chop yourself. I mean, I'm bound to. If you're not careful, you're going to lose a lot of meat to pulling off the fat. So do try to take note of that, so you don't lose too much meat, because when you render the fat, that just ends up going to waste. I mean, you can look at ways to try to reuse some of that, but the less you take off, the better. And so once you start getting a nice strip like this, when you pull up from the loin, you're able to just cut off this beautiful strip, which has next to no meat stuck to it. No, there you go. I'm looking like a liar now. So we're just gonna keep trimming it like this. Ribs are a lot easier to pull all of the fat off of than it is for pork loin, but you work with what you've got. So here we go. Don't make the mistake. Using a bigger knife is not going to make it more efficient. You're more likely playing with the meat and fat, going to injure yourself, as well as lose a lot more of this wonderful meat, which you're looking to keep, obviously, for the protein, to eat it, fry it up, however, whatnot. We are going to be preparing a nice barbecue this evening with just meat kebabs for pork. And so that is going to be a recipe that will be released at some point on the website. We want to make sure we've perfected it, or at least gotten pretty darn close to perfecting it before we post anything on the website for you. Although we do always welcome your feedback. Any feedback you have, please do leave it in the comments or send us a note. Be happy to take your feedback and see if we can't incorporate it into our recipes, or provide you some reasoning for why we've done one thing or another. So this does take a little bit of time. I mean, obviously, if you're looking for chopping for pork loin into rounds or roasts or whatnot, you want to make sure that if you don't want the fat on it, that you're inspecting the meat before you buy it in the package, so that you get something that is closer to your preference or taste. There's lots of benefits in the fat as well, but we each have our own preference. I mean, fat is fat. It can be great for so many other things. And when you are having to eat low FODMAP, like myself, where I just pretty much can't get away with any of it without having IBS reactions, you really need to have your own stock in the freezer prepared of different meats, so that you can make everything you want to go. And obviously, life is pretty damn boring when you don't know how to cook. Like, I didn't know how to cook when I was diagnosed with severe IBS and told to try the low FODMAP diet, and it was quite the shocking experience to figure out how to cook from scratch, figure out flavor sets, and learn how to cook all at the same time. I mean, it's one thing to cook some basic things, it's another thing to learn it all at once. So I can definitely sympathize with some of you out there that are coming across our website, looking at the resources we're trying to help connect people with, and kind of not knowing where to start on this overwhelming journey. However, the benefits definitely pay off when you make that switch. If you are reactive to the FODMAPs, it was life-altering for me. It was amazing, sleeping better, feeling better, no more heart palpitations, or what I thought were heart palpitations. So it was quite phenomenal for myself. The heart palpitations were really bad heartburn, by the way, so don't go thinking that if you're having heart palpitations, you shouldn't be getting that checked out. You should be talking to your doctor and making sure that everything's fine in that area, and not just assuming that it's what you eat, although it doesn't hurt to change what you eat to something a bit healthier. Okay, so I think I've gotten most of the fat off of here. As you can see, I've left a little bit on this side, but we're going to keep that there mostly. Oops, there we go. Because it's a total pain in the butt to remove it, and also fat does add flavor. And there we go. That is removing the fat from the pork loin. Thank you.